Peter, you're new here, yeah? Okay, so I have a film that I need a hand on. It's a documentary on the ESF. Do you know who they are?
ESF, European...
Social Fund.
Okay.
Now, the ESF is a huge EU initiative that was set up for supporting jobs and employment, that sort of thing. And we need to research it to meet deadline.
Okay, great. Is there any background info?
Are you testing me or what? Of course! We've got some clips here. Let's have a look.
Sometimes people need a second chance in life, and I was lucky enough to get a second chance.
Først så troede jeg ikke lige, det var mig på grund af min alder, men jeg kom på skole, og det gik fantastisk godt.
Приоритетите ми са семейството и работата.
Ta pragma tai nepjövkola ja oluzmas.
Aš manau, kad mūsų laukia puikiai ateit. O Alek, nors neili بداية من البدو.
All right, so what is it exactly? Some kind of job centre?
Not really. The ESF spends 10 billion euros a year on training projects and jobs in the member states. That's lots of jobs.
That's big. So there's a strategic side to this then?
Well, for that kind of money, I'd hope so. There's an overall European employment strategy with targets to create jobs and help the unemployed. This guides the ESF strategies in the member states that are then turned into ESF projects which help people get jobs.
Well, that's a good approach. I mean, if we highlight the strategic objectives and then focus on projects helping real people on the ground, I mean, that's the human factor, make it real. Do we know what the strategy is? I mean, it would help.
Yes, well, apparently, it's about finding solutions to the challenges facing the EU. Now, there's a list here somewhere. Yep, here it is. Okay, let's go through them. Globalization and adapting to change.
That's a bit vague. What do they mean by that?
Let's see. Globalization is changing the way we work. Older industries disappear and new ones arise. Well, that's true. So one ESF solution is to train people to adapt with new skills and working practices.
Well, I mean, things are going so fast these days, I mean, especially at work. I studied archaeology, and then I worked for a car park company.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow.
And now I'm here. So I've had to be really adaptable.
Okay, Mr. Adaptability. Well, how about this? Challenge. Globalization changes the game. Solution. To compete, workers must embrace change. Adopt or adapt, maybe?
Yeah?
Yeah. You know, I've got some video samples on that. Shall we have a look?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Миналата година станах регионален менеджер. Работата е много отговорна и за мен всеки ден е различен.
Biljana Filipova from Bulgaria is responsible for 19 filling stations, dealing with the whole business, from staff and equipment to safety issues. When she joined the company, it was a big switch from her studies in textile engineering. Starting as a cashier, she worked hard and quickly moved up. After her latest promotion, she took a series of training sessions funded by the ESF. They helped her develop her skills in dealing with people, taking decisions, prioritizing, and coping with difficult situations.
I do a different job than the one I studied for, too. I mean, I've been flexible. So you've got to be ready for a change. Someday I might even get your job.
Really? You move pretty fast. Well, I guess it's not just individuals that the ESF help or adapt to change. It's also they help businesses too. So let's have a look at some clips on that, yeah?
The ESF also helps companies with projects for upgrading the way they work and do business.
Trabajé mucho para crear mi propia empresa desde cero, pero cuando estuve a punto de perderlo todo, me di cuenta que necesitaba un gran cambio.
José Salmerón Guindos is from the Sierra Nevada region in Spain. He set up a company making car trailers and building fixtures. When they lost their biggest client and faced bankruptcy, things looked bad. So Jose took a course for entrepreneurs, and then he transformed the company, bringing in specialist staff and new processes. The company has diversified and is now growing fast.
He aprendido que en una empresa lo más importante son las personas y juntos estamos preparados para afrontar el futuro, traiga lo que traiga.
Okay, I get it. Seems like you've been doing part of my job for me.
Yeah. Okay, what's up next? Another challenge. Demographic change. Hang on, that's pensions, surely, not jobs?
No, wait a minute, I think I know this. We're all getting older, okay? The population as a whole, on average. And so there's going to be less workers in the future. But you're right about pensions, because with less workers paying for more pensions, the situation's going to get worse.
Yes.
And another thing, with less workers, companies are going to find it even more difficult to find skilled labor. So it's a real squeeze.
Yeah, okay. I think I can work this one out. So to pay for pensions, Europe needs more workers, and they need them to work for longer, which is not going to make many people very happy, not to mention any names. But we do live longer nowadays. That is, if we take care of ourselves.
Right, so the ESF is making a big investment into employment and reaching out to all those who want to work.
Yes. Can I have a look at that?
Yeah?
Okay.
W 2001 roku przeszedłem operację endoprotezy stawu biodrowego, przeszedłem na rentę inwalidzką, przez 5 lat nie mogłem znaleźć pracy.
When his operation went wrong, Andrzej Lubowski could no longer do his job in the shipyard near Gdansk in Poland. 40 years old, he resigned himself to staying at home while his wife worked. Then, one day, he spotted a poster offering support for partially disabled job seekers and decided to register. A 4-day course showed him how to write a CV and apply for jobs. Within 24 hours, Andrzej had got a regular job with a local security firm. Being out of work doesn't make you feel good about yourself, he explains. With his disability, Andrzej had a guaranteed early pension, but his determination to get back to work paid off.
Dzięki szkoleniu, które odbyło się w 2006 roku, organizowane przez Fundację Gospodarczą dla osób niepełnosprawnych poszukujących pracy, znalazłem pracę, w której pracuję do dziś.
See, it's really important to have a job, you know, to keep in contact with friends and colleagues. And it's the social aspect of it, you know?
Yeah, but having a disability can't help. And older workers, it can't be easy for them either. Some bosses, they think they're past it for modern jobs. Don't you think? I mean, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Well, I think if the ESF has its way, you'll have to wait a bit longer to step into my shoes. Anyway, you're never too old to learn. Look at this one.
Sometimes you just need the right training to get on. In her mid-50s and unemployed, Jane Groner is one of many who've taken the bold step to train for a completely new job. Jane had always worked to get on, but she needed new skills to go ahead. So she took a bus driver's course at a training center in Denmark. Now, Jane loves going to work and takes pride in giving her passengers a safe, comfortable ride. She has no plans to retire.
Good for her.
All over Europe, the ESF is supporting many different groups of people who find it difficult to get a job or stay in work, even though they may want to.
Remiu jaunus žmonės, kuriems padedu, aiškinu, mokau, parodau savo gyvenimo patirtį.
Many older people want to work and stay in work. The ESF helps them to do this, and at the same time capitalizes on their experience and safeguards future pensions.
Najít práci v mém věku je složité. Rekvalifikace mi umožnila získat nové dovednosti a najít práci.
You know, I'm really amazed by the scope of the ESF.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really reaching out. I wonder how long they've been around for.
Well, we do have to do something on the history of it.
I can do that.
Okay, so how long it's been going on and how it's changed and so on, just an overview, something like that.
Sure.
But in fact, I do have something prepared for you already. Okay, so I'll show you.
Great.
When Europe's leaders signed the Treaty of Rome in 1957, they also launched the European Social Fund, showing Europe's commitment to supporting jobs and employment. At that time, thriving economic growth in the 1960s was encouraging economic migration within the EU, as 9 million migrants left their southern homelands to find work in the north. The new ESF helped these migrants with retraining and resettlement grants, enabling them to settle quickly into their new jobs and societies. Later, in the 1970s, the ESF began to focus on specific groups: the young, who were suffering growing unemployment, and women, who were taking on a bigger role in the workplace. Driven by the switch from traditional manufacturing industries towards a more services-based economy, in the 1980s the ESF helped retrain more than 2 million workers in new skills and technologies. This continued into the 90s as globalization and the information society demanded workers with IT skills to run the new systems for the new economic sectors. And in the face of the growing demographic time bomb, the need to bring more people into jobs meant that older workers, disabled people, women and minorities all gained a higher priority, as ESF funding offered them entry routes into the labor market. In the last decade, the Lisbon Agenda gave the ESF a critical role in equipping workers with the skills and qualifications Europe needs. Equal opportunities, adaptability and entrepreneurship are just some of the key elements the ESF is nurturing among the 10 million citizens who participate in ESF activities every year.
Hey. Hey. You know, I'm beginning to get a really good understanding of what the ESF's all about.
Yeah.
It's got a flexible strategy and a pioneering approach. See this map?
Yeah.
10 million people per year, each with their own story. I mean, how does it work in detail, though?
Well, like lots of EU initiatives, they do it together with the member states, yeah? So that first they agree on strategies here in Brussels, and then they distribute the funds to a whole range of job-related projects in the member states.
That's a huge operation. And I suppose the poorer countries receive more of the funding.
Well, that's usual.
Okay, so what's next?
Yeah, hang on a minute. Helping disadvantaged groups. So, what do you make of these?
Well, these look like they should be together. They're new immigrants.
Yeah.
And here are the older workers that we saw earlier.
Good.
So it looks like it's people that have a difficult time finding a job. Too old, too new, too different.
Okay, but don't forget about the ethnic minority groups, like these Roma here, yeah? So they face terrible discrimination, and they are Europe's largest minority group.
Okay, so what's our line here? Why is ESF doing this?
Come on, think about it. Come on.
Well, it's like you said, work's important because we get paid.
Yeah.
But there's also the social aspect.
Yes.
But I guess it's about fairness.
Well done.
Yeah, everyone getting a chance.
Yeah, good.
The Roma can find it really difficult to get the simple things most of us take for granted, like getting an education, staying healthy, and finding a job.
Προσπαθούμε και εμείς από την πλευρά μας να είμαστε η γέφυρα ανάμεσα στους τσιγκάνους, γιατί αποκομίσω πάρα πολλά πράγματα και πρώτα απ' όλα εγώ δεν είχα, πριν ξεκινήσω τη δουλειά μου εδώ στο κέντρο, είχα μια άλλη εντύπωση για τους τσιγκάνους. Όταν ήρθα σε επαφή με αυτούς τους ανθρώπους κατάλαβα ότι ό,τι τους δίνεις ακριβώς αυτό λαμβάνεις.
Προσπαθώ να κάνω το καλύτερο για τα παιδιά μου, τα στέλνω στο σχολείο, δεν τα σταματάω καθόλου. Έχουμε και το γιατρείο εδώ πέρα που μας βοηθάει, πηγαίνουμε εκεί πέρα και ρούχα μας δίνουν και βιβλία για τα παιδιά, ό,τι έχουν.
It's not just ethnic minorities who can find it difficult to be accepted. Yana Urbania's teenage years involved depression and drug addiction.
Izpadla sem iz vsakršnega sistema. Moje življenje je bilo bedno.
An ESF project gave her hope for a different life in her native Slovenia. She began the long road to recovery, getting free of drugs. Then she finished school and went on to study geotechnology and mining at the University of Ljubljana. And she's giving something back, working night shifts at a center for young people with drug and alcohol problems.
Veliko sem prejela in želim tudi dajati.
Hang on. Why are these here? I mean, they're all women. They seem pretty happy. What are they doing there? Okay, they have children, but who discriminates against mothers?
I know. Can you believe it in this day and age? Well, they stayed home to raise their children, and now they're older and their skills are outdated.
Okay, well, that could be a line for us.
Yeah.
What is the ESF doing for them?
Let's have a look.
In Slovakia, Katarina Vargova interrupted her career to raise her newborn son. After a long break, she was ready to get back to work. A special training course for mothers returning to the workforce helped Katarina sharpen her skills.
Po 3 rokoch starostlivosti o môjho syna som stratila trochu kontakt s vonkajším svetom. Potrebovala som novú výzvu.
Today, she runs a ceramics workshop, teaching students the art of clay modeling and creating her own sculptures, which she sells in a local gallery.
Vzdelávací projekt mi pomohol občerstviť si vedomosti z marketingu, manažmentu a rozvíjať tak svoju súčasnú činnosť.
You know, it's interesting how the ESF can be there at just the right time. You know, just a little nudge can help people get ahead on their own.
Yes, we have to bring that out somehow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now there's another one, new jobs for new technologies.
Not computers, I hope.
No, much more than that. The ESF is training people in the new technologies that Europe needs, you know, green technologies and renewable energy, electric cars, that sort of thing. I mean, you said before, it's a very proactive approach.
Yeah, and as for the media industry, it's changed dramatically with the digital technology, hasn't it?
Yeah, good point. You know, we're always looking for people who can work with the latest technologies. It looks like the ESF is as well. So, the line here is training scientists and technicians for tomorrow's technologies.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Absolutely. I mean, it's thinking and planning for the future.
Yeah.
Italian Simone Rossi studied engineering at the University of Perugia. But after graduating, he found it difficult to get a job in his chosen field. An ESF-funded research grant changed that situation. At a local technology-led manufacturer, he worked on an innovative photovoltaic system to convert sunlight into electricity. His successful prototype led the company to give him a permanent position to develop the product further and prepare it for the market.
Grazie alla mia ricerca abbiamo sviluppato un sistema fotovoltaico più efficiente e ho ottenuto un lavoro in questa azienda.
So, that's what we have. Do you think it's enough?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's strong on strategy, strong on human experience. Yeah, there's definitely a great story.
Okay, so 1, the ESF promotes jobs and helps 10 million of us a year. 2, the ESF is a partnership with a strategy. 3, the ESF turns challenges into jobs. And 4?
4, the ESF's about European values, about fairness to all, a chance to get involved.
Okay, well, I couldn't have said that better myself.
You were testing me. Well, there's definitely a story here.
Good, get on it.
Na začátku jsem nevěděla, kolik práce to bude obnášet, ale jsem ráda, že jsem se takto rozhodla, protože můžu být svým vlastním pánem.
Ce programme a été un vrai coup de pouce pour moi. À partir de là, j'espère pouvoir développer de nouvelles activités. On ne va pas s'arrêter en si bon chemin.
Τελειώνοντας αυτό το πρόγραμμα, νιώθω πολύ πιο σίγουρος για τον εαυτό μου. Μου δόθηκαν πάρα πολλές ευκαιρίες μέσα από αυτό και σήμερα κάνω αυτό που θέλω.
If the programme hadn't come along, my life would have spiralled right out of control. It has allowed me to become the man that I should have been a long time ago.